factors promoting and obstructing the fruition of Kamma. The way in which the law of Kamma manifests in people's lives determines various circumstances and triggers responses from outside, is outlined in the Pali Canon as relying on 4 pairs of factors: the 4 accomplishments, sampati, and the 4 defects, vipatti. Sampati may be translated as accomplishment or advantage. It refers to the fulfillment of those factors, affording an opportunity for good karma to come to fruition and preventing the effects of bad karma to surface. In brief, they are favourable to the ripening of good karma. They include 1. Gati sampati, accomplishment of birth, fulfillment of birth, favourable environment. One is born in a favourable state or realm of existence, region or country. In the present lifetime, one's way of life is conducive to well-being, or one lives in a supportive environment. 2. Upadhi sampati, accomplishment of the body, fulfillment of body, favourable or fortunate body. For instance, one has an attractive body and graceful appearance. One is endearing to others. One is healthy and strong. 3. Kala sampati, accomplishment of time, fulfillment of time, favourable time. One is born in a time when one's country is in a state of peace, with good leaders and virtuous citizens, when people praise righteousness and condemn evil. On an everyday level, one acts in a timely and opportune fashion. 4. Pai yoga sampati, accomplishment of undertaking, fulfillment of undertaking, favourable activity. For example, one acts appropriately in line with what is required. One's actions correspond with one's abilities and strengths. One acts thoroughly, decisively, and to one's fullest capability. One is skilled at carrying out work. Vipatti may be translated as defect, weakness, or disadvantage. It refers to the shortcomings and flaws of various factors which are unconducive to the fruition of good karma and instead provide an opportunity for the effects of bad karma to manifest. In brief, they are unfavourable factors triggering the ripening of bad karma. They include 1. Gati vipatti, defect or failure as regards place of birth. One is born in an uncultivated, unfavourable state of existence, region or country. One's way of life is not conducive to well-being. One lives in an unsupportive environment. 2. Upadhi vipatti, defect or failure as regards the body. For example, one's body is deformed, feeble or unattractive. One's appearance is repulsive. One is unhealthy, afflicted by various illnesses. 3. Kala vipatti, defect or failure as regards time. One is born in a time when one's country is in a state of peril, calamity or turbulence. The country's leaders are immoral, the society is degenerate and full of oppression, praising the wicked and persecuting the virtuous. One acts in unseemly, inopportune ways. 4. Pa yoga vipatti, defect or failure as regards undertaking. For example, one is engaged in wrongful activities, one's actions do not correspond with one's abilities and strengths, one makes effort in inappropriate ways, one's efforts are half-baked. Pair number 1, accomplishment of birth. One is born in a developed region and receives a good education. Although one's inherent intelligence or degree of effort is low, one still gets more education and gains a higher position in society than someone with more intelligence and diligence who is born in the countryside. One may be born as a deva. However bad one's character may be, one lives untroubled and in comfort. Defect as regards birth. Example, a Buddha appears and teaches the Dhamma, but one is born in the outback or in hell, and one thus has no opportunity to listen to the Dhamma. One is intelligent, but one is born in the wilderness of the so-called dark region, Kaladipa, and thus has no opportunity to become a learned member of academic circles. One lives in a land or community where other people do not appreciate one's knowledge and skills. One does not fit in, and one is looked down on or persecuted. A virtuous and skilled person is in a position of work that does not complement his skills. He is thus a burden for others and is unhappy. This final example may also be accompanied by a defect as regards undertaking. Pair number 2, accomplishment of the body. One has a beautiful and attractive physical appearance, although one may have been born in a poor family or in a remote area. One's physical appearance helps one to attain a state of honor, prestige, and happiness. Defect as regards the body. One is born in a fortunate location or in an affluent family, but one is deformed or physically handicapped. One thus does not obtain the prestige or pleasure otherwise afforded by these circumstances. When two people are matched in other attributes, in the case that physical appearance is a factor for consideration, an attractive or handsome person will often benefit over an unattractive or sickly person. Even in the case when physical appearance is not ostensibly a factor, it is normal for most people to incline towards someone with an attractive appearance. Those people with defects as regards the body must accept this truth of the world. They can reflect that only those who are endowed with exceptional qualities, surpassing ordinary human beings, are truly impartial and unbiased as regards physical attributes. Knowing this, those people with defective bodies need not be distraught. They should strive to cultivate other qualities that are exceptional and outstanding. They may need to make 2 or 3 times the effort to achieve this than the effort required by an unattractive person to reach certain forms of success. The important thing is not to get discouraged. One is aware of what is lacking, and one hastens to strengthen those factors that can be improved. An understanding of one's karmic situation is thus of benefit. Pair number 3. Accomplishment of time. One is an honest and virtuous person born at a time when one's political leaders are morally upright and one's society extols virtue. As a consequence, one is honoured and prospers, and one's country is at peace. Wise people in such a society are able to share their knowledge and benefit others. Similarly, there may be a time when people cherish poetry. Those who are skilled poets will flourish. Defect as regards time, here the opposite is true. At a time when society has grown corrupt and its leaders are devoid of righteousness, good people are not praised, and they may even be abused. Even if one is intelligent and capable, it will be difficult to engage in constructive work. When one's country is in turmoil because of war, few people are interested in those who advocate peaceful means. Similarly, at a time when people prefer crude, frenetic music, those people skilled at more subtle, tranquil forms of music will find little favour. Pair number 4. Accomplishment of undertaking. Although one may not be endowed with much virtue or ability, one knows with whom to associate. One knows how to avoid those things that should be avoided, and one is able to forfeit that which should be forfeited. In this way one is able to prosper, and one's defects do not surface. Similarly, one may be skilled at counterfeiting documents, but one uses this skill in a positive way, for instance in examining legal evidence. Defect as regards undertaking, example, one possesses sufficient knowledge and one's other personal attributes are favourable, but one is addicted to gambling, and thus one is not hired for a specific job. One is superb at running, and one has the potential to be a prized sprinter, but one uses this talent to snatch people's belongings. One is an expert artisan, but one performs some kind of office work for which one lacks skill. For the most part, results at the level of one's way of life, level 3 mentioned earlier, pertain to worldly things, Buddhadhamma, which are subject to fluctuation and uncertainty. They are relatively superficial and do not touch upon the core of one's life. Their degree of impact on one's life depends on one's level of attachment. If one is able to come to terms with these things, one's happiness will remain steady, or one's suffering will be minimized. For this reason, the Buddha encouraged people to develop wisdom accompanied by mindfulness, and to be diligent and heedful. In times of happiness, one does not get carried away. In times of difficulty, one does not become despondent or overly distraught and slip into immoral or destructive ways of conduct. Rather, one alleviates the situation by way of wisdom and awareness. When one still desires delightful and agreeable worldly things, itara mana, one acknowledges one's own advantages, sampatti, and disadvantages, vipatti, one's strengths and weaknesses, and embraces the former while avoiding the latter. One then tries to reach desired goals, and one benefits through wholesome actions, which bring about a profound stability to all areas of one's life. One refrains from unwholesome conduct, because personal advantages and disadvantages are uncertain. When favourable times pass, any bad actions one may have committed bear fruit. To sum up, when one is faced with various factors belonging to different laws, niyama, both laws of nature and conventional laws, one should focus on cultivating goodness and integrity in relation to the law of Kamma. Acting in this way provides a degree of stability and security. Factors connected to other laws can then be applied with wisdom in a supplementary way. Insofar as they are not harmful, if one is able to practice in this way, one is able to benefit from these 4 pairs of accomplishments and defects. and one is able to apply both the laws of nature and conventional laws to one's advantage. Some people need to be reminded not to get caught up in such things as, why did he succeed, even though he didn't do anything? Why does nothing happen to her, even though she acted badly? Why doesn't anything good happen to me, even though I have acted virtuously? One may fail to make a thorough inspection of factors linked with various laws, niyama, and thus conclude, I don't possess the intelligence to draw benefit from other sources, and even the inherited karmic factors are unfavorable. If one remains caught up in these kinds of thoughts, matters will most likely get worse. According to the essential message of the Buddha's teachings, people performing good deeds do not get stuck at the stage of expecting mundane personal rewards, Buddhadhamma, i.e. material gain, honor, pleasure, and praise, because true wholesome actions spring from the wholesome roots of non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. Such people act with relinquishment, jaga, abandoning unwholesome qualities in their hearts. By kindness and compassion they help others to be freed from suffering, and they promote a peaceful coexistence among people. They act with wisdom in order to deepen an understanding of the truth, to realize awakening, and to establish the Dhamma as the guiding force for themselves and for society. This can be classified as the highest form of Kamma. It is Kamma performed in order to bring about the end of Kamma, as referred to earlier.